Okay, my name is Bryan Ford. I'm a school teacher, and it's kind of the tale of two schools. In the summer, I was given an email from our new superintendent. It's about an hour south. There's a nice school there, right? And I was told, that the vaccinated staff would be unmasked, and the unvaccinated staff, along with all the children, would be masked for the upcoming year. I had experienced what was the worst school year I've ever. It was almost comical until I just sat back and realized how much harm was being done to these kids, and any staff member who had any sort of inkling as to, this is off, they didn't speak. I pretty much kept to my room and told my students that I'd be a safe haven, but that ultimately, led me to quitting. I knew I would not make it another year. There's a $1,000 stipend promised for anyone who got vaccinated. There was talk of cars being given to students. If only we can get more of that, more tax dollars, we could bribe 17-year-olds, 16, 17-year-olds into getting the vaccination, and we'll give them a bright, new, shiny car. My new superintendent, and I hope he knows that I'm speaking about him, and I don't care if he looks me up, said something along the lines, I'm not going to quote him, that it was innovative, and he's never been so proud of such, great ideas coming from his administration. He's talking about the car that he's going to bribe teenagers into getting. He said that it was the number one priority was not their education, not their safety, that's used quite a bit, but getting them vaccinated, all of us vaccinated. So I knew at that point I had to quit. I was lucky, very lucky. I knew I had to quit. I was hoping I would find a job, and I did. 45 minutes outside of town, out of the county, in a very small district, and everything's choice. I mean, it's like going back to 2019. I mean, 95% of the staff members and the students there are just, it's fine. There's no animosity because everything's a choice. People wear masks, fine. No one really talks about it. There's no vaccine talk. I mean, it is just a very small district, elementary, middle, high. Our numbers are at 0. Everyone obsesses over cases. If masks really work, or if any of these restrictions really worked, you would see a humongous difference between a school like the one that both of us, we're in that county, compared to the ones that, that I'm at right now. So it's blatantly obvious what's happening. I've never been so happy to get out of there, and I was just lucky to find them. But I guess I'm trying to give you a little hope that if you speak with your feet a little bit, you can find some places. I was lucky. I know I was fortunate enough, and I always have this conversation with people. It's persuasion versus separation, maybe a little both. I'm not doing it anymore. I left, and I was lucky enough to leave, and I see happy children. I'm a special ed teacher. I've been a special ed teacher for 17 years, and I know how important it is for children, all children, to see your faces, to see smiles. I fought to get my students last year, to stay for the first 2 weeks. They're on code red or whatever they wanted to call it at the time. We were going to do everything through Zoom, and I knew my students would never show. No knock on them or their families. It's just very difficult. They weren't going to show, so I knew the longer that they were home, the longer they were getting nothing. No social stuff. They wanted to be at school. So I was lucky enough to have an assistant superintendent at the time that allowed the kids back. I didn't hear one word from staff, one word from my principal. No, that a boy, way to go, way to get these kids here with us. In hindsight, I know now that they did not want them there. They didn't want the students there. I would see staff members walk up stairwells after school that were labeled up or down because they didn't want anyone to, cross paths. It's after school's out. There are no students there. So I knew that these were the people that were teaching the kids, and there was very little hope as to whether or not it was going to change. And so I guess I'm just speaking to you all to continue doing what you're doing. Let them know how ridiculous they are, and that there is hope, and there are school systems out there that will not cave. The school system I'm at now they're still handcuffed. They have to. They're liable. So if they don't adhere to, the state, the feds, whatever, whichever monster's doing it, if they don't adhere to that, they're liable. And a small district like that gets sued, they have to use their own monies, and they're done. So they have to adhere to the quarantining, the close contact, all of it, or else they're just under. And I work it's a very small town. The school is the hub. It's the center of the town. People are very proud of it. It's where the community comes. It's like everything centers around it. So for that school not to be there in that town, it's very sad. We did sign. It was funny. Not too long ago, something came out. It's like, well, we're going to mandate masks. And I thought, oh, my gosh, I traveled 45 minutes. I'm done. I thought I was away from all of this, and now here it comes. It just hits a small town 45 minutes from where I live, and I was like, I can't believe this is happening. And it wasn't happening because there was a fourth choice, and that fourth choice was sign a waiver. And if you sign the waiver, then you can still adhere to the week and a half or whatever the close contact, the quarantine. But if you wear that mask, then if you're showing no symptoms, you can stay at school. So it's just a bribe to parents. And I was so thrilled to come to school the next day and see that nothing had changed. No one was wearing masks that wasn't wearing masks for the most part. Maybe 2, 3 people, but I knew I was in the right place. So I don't know. I just want to give you a little hope. There are school districts out there that are fighting the state, and they're not going to go to their bribes. So that's about it. Thanks.